Yo, what's going on, guys? So I got a new webcam, and I'm recording the video that you can see if you go to the show notes. If you're listening to an audio, I'll give you a YouTube link. But what was I just saying? Oh yeah, I'm recording the video, recording the video or the visual of this podcast just because I have a new webcam. And what I was originally gonna say was I didn't know you could record through QuickTime a new movie from your webcam. So yeah, I just wanted to share that moment with you guys. Sorry that was dumb. Anyways, okay, so day 3 of a 5-day starting routine podcast. Sorry, it's been a minute, but I wanna hammer this one home. This one's gonna be a shorter one just because day 3 for me is what I would call like a stretch day, and there's not a whole lot of technical stuff, in detail stuff going on. I will go into detail as far as like my throwing progression for this particular day, but other than that, there's really not a whole lot of, like mind blowing stuff that I do, to be completely honest. But before we dive in, again, for those of you guys watching this video, you'll see I'm going to talk about my sponsors now. So Frost Gear, if you're looking at the video, this is the Frost Gear throwing glove. So they sent me another one. They originally sent me one when I was back in Omaha. It was a blue one. Now I have a black one. So I have a blue and a black one. And being in Omaha, I know how freaking miserable it is to try to throw outside when it's negative 40 degrees. So those things come in handy. They also sent me some tights and long sleeves. They're freaking awesome. So thank you for sponsoring the podcast, Frost Gear Baseball. Go ahead and head to the show notes. You'll see a discount code to give to my listeners of my podcast. So whatever platform you're listening to it on, head to the show notes and you'll see a link in there that'll take you to the discount page for the sponsors. Next sponsor, thank you to Diamond Kinetics. If you guys have been following me for a minute now, you know that I do a lot of stuff with Diamond Kinetics. Again, for those of you guys watching the video, you see it right here. The Smart Baseball Pitch Tracker. I'm really impressed right now with the webcam. This podcast is not brought to you by Logitech, but I'll include the Diamond Kinetics link as far as the discount, and then I have a ton of content from Diamond Kinetics. I'm working on a post right now that will kind of dive or take a deeper dive into how I would go about like a quote unquote pitch design session. We'll talk about like how to use the Diamond Kinetics ball, what does it all mean, and how do we best use that data to get better. All right, so with that being said, I want to talk 2 minutes, guys. Give me 2 minutes and we'll dive into it. But I want to take 2 minutes and talk about the newest content that I have been releasing. First things first, I have a content piece on blending mechanics. So probably if I were to list like top 5 most asked questions, one of those questions would be, hey, how come I can long toss a certain distance, but I can't throw over 90? So a lot of people talk about how 300 feet is 90 out of the hand, which it 100% is, but they're not able to transfer that to the mound. So I wrote an article, I did a video breakdown on blending your mechanics. Again, I'll include that link in the show notes as well, or you can just head over to therobbyrowshow.com and go to the blogs, go to pitching instruction, and you'll see it in there called blending mechanics. Next piece is Pulldown Velo, drastically different than Mound Velo. Again, one of the top 5 questions that I get, how come I can pull down this number, but when I go to the mound, it doesn't transfer? So wanted to really hammer home that topic. Again, article, video breakdown, therobbyrowshow.com. Head over to pitching instruction. You'll see it there as well. All these links will be specifically in the show notes. So if you want to just go to the show notes and click that, you can. And then the last one is creating separation in the delivery. Probably more of a mainstream verbiage of pitching mechanics now is hip shoulder separation. So I really wanted to take a deep dive into hip shoulder separation and creating that stretch. That I use the verbiage stretch in our delivery to maximize our torque, maximize our rotational energy to be able to throw harder. Okay, So now let's dive into it. Day 3. So like I said, I call this the stretch day. Not a whole lot of stuff going on. First and foremost, the biggest importance is understanding and identifying how my body feels, how my arm feels on this particular day. So just note that day 1 was start day, day 2 was day after start day, and now this is day 3. So a lot of people, I know early in my career when I was in affiliated ball, I know the Diamondbacks and Pittsburgh did on your second day, you throw your bullpen if you're a starter, meaning second day after your start day, right? So you had your start day and then a day, and then you would throw your bullpen. I changed this later in my career. I know Jack Flaherty and I, we were just talking about this on a podcast as well, and we were saying, like push it back one more day. And for me, that's kind of the sweet spot. So day 4 for me is bullpen day. So again, this day is more of just a stretch day, understanding how I'm feeling. And what I mean by stretch is, we'll dive into it a little bit more when I talk about the throwing progressions. But biggest points of emphasis for me on this particular day, again, sleeping 8 to 10 hours. That's usually something that I can control, depending on where we are, what time the next game is, and so on and so forth. But a huge priority for me is 8 to 10 hours. I'm in recovery mode, right? So I'm still fresh off a start, and I know I have a bullpen that next day, and there's a lot of things that I want to practice at game speed to maximize, to my potential, honestly. Is so I know I need to recover, so I know I need to sleep really good, and I know I need to eat really good, and so on and so forth. I'm doing an upper body lift today. So day 3 for me is I'm doing an upper body lift. The reason I do an upper body lift on this particular day is because the next day, that bullpen day, I want to do a lower body lift before I throw that bullpen. It's kind of something that I incorporated pretty early on, maybe in 2012, and it was something that I was able to do the lower body lift before my bullpen to kind of wear me out. And then once I would get in the bullpen, it was like, oh man, it's like the 7th, 8th inning, and you really gotta grind in or dial it in. So that was something that I took from Roy Halladay. That was my guy. But oh man, I read an article when he was going through his Cy Young. I forget what year. That might have been 2011, right? 2011 when he threw that no hitter in the postseason. No, 2010, right? Yeah. Anyways, right around there, an article came out, and it talked about how, like, when he threw his bullpens, he would want to do a lower body lift and then go right into his bullpen. So that's something that I try to replicate, that just because for me it made sense. And then understanding like how you feel during that bullpen, it really makes you or forces you to be mentally tough, because you are a little bit tired, you are a little bit fatigued, but you still got to execute pitches. So that's the reason why I want to do the lower body lift on bullpen day, and that's the reason why I'm doing an upper body lift on day 3. So again, going back to that stretch day, again, this is not maximal intent. So even in my upper body lift, I'm maybe at 70% 1 rep max. I'm not doing a ton. I'm maybe not even doing that much volume. 2 sets, 3 sets, 6 by 8. Nothing really. Nothing really fancy. Like I said in the beginning, it's push-pull combo, get in, get out. After that, if there's a sauna available, I'm hitting that sauna. Again, it goes back to the recovery protocols, and I'm a huge believer in sauna protocols. Shameless plug, I just partnered with Sunlighten Saunas, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, you've seen on my story me using their Solo Pod sauna system. It's freaking dope, and I can get you a discount on it. So I'll even just include that in the show notes as well. That's Sunlighten Sauna. But a lot of really good research coming out right now on recovery and the benefits of sauna and infrared sauna and all that goodness. But like I said, if there's a sauna, I'm hitting it. If not, no worries. This season, actually, when I go play, wherever that is, I'm going to bring my sauna system, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. All right, so after that sauna, if it's not available, whatever, head to the field, shower, food, field. Well, I already said field. Anyways, nothing important there. Shower, head to the field, get going. Treatment if needed. This goes back to identifying how my body is, how my arm is. Do I need treatment? Do I need soft tissue? Do I need stem? Do I need cupping? All of these like different modalities, like do I need it or do I not? I actually tend to try to avoid doing a ton of that kind of stuff, because I don't know, I'm not speaking from research papers or whatever has been done on this, but I just feel like the more that you do that to your arm and the body, like the less it recovers more you need it. I don't know if that made sense, but it made sense in my head. Basically, I try to only do it when I really need it. So when I do need it and I hit it, whatever that modality is, my body responds really well. It doesn't get used to it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, so for my throwing, stretch day, this kind of goes hand in hand with that whole stretch day dynamic is I'm stretching it out. I'm at 60% exertion. I'm trying to create distance, but I'm not trying to, force arm speed or arm strength or so on and so forth. I'm really trying to create that stretch. I think for a lot of you guys who have followed me for a long time now know that I'm a huge advocate of long toss and huge advocate of this type of throwing variations where you are just, controlling the exertion, but getting a lot of distance, getting a lot of air under your throws. And my volume today on this particular day is pretty high. I'm trying to throw quite a bit. But again, controlling the exertion, not overdoing it, not forcing arm speed, so on and so forth. And then when I come in, I'll do, again, 60% exertion, pull downs, just getting on top of the ball, getting that feedback, getting that feeling, getting that sensation off the fingertips of how I want it to feel. Long hop in my pull downs, and then I'll do like a flat ground and mix in kind of all my pitches, maybe crank up the intensity. Again, it goes back to identifying how I'm feeling for that particular day. I'm not trying to do too much. I'm not trying to do too little. It's that happy medium. But and then this is kind of like a distance conditioning day. Not necessarily that I'm saying that I'm going to be running poles, but it's going to be like, bow and arrows where I'm sprinting a pole and then I'm walking, or I'm walking a pole and then sprinting, or I'm jogging. Just something that's not super short amount of distance, I guess you would say. And then I prep for the bullpen tomorrow, knowing like, okay, let's look at the film from my last outing. Let me see some of the things that I personally need to work on. And then that goes hand in hand with like knowing who I'm going to be pitching against that next outing. And if that's the team that's in town or we're there, then I'm prepping for that during the game too. So I'm watching the game, taking notes, understanding, their hitters and all of that. And then kind of just, again, prepping for that bullpen, knowing that I can control that, so again, taking the things that I learned from the last outing and applying it to that bullpen, so I can really focus on those particular things that I'm not doing necessarily a great job on. And then, like I said, watch the game, take notes, and hopefully get a win, be a teammate, be a good teammate, be a cheerleader. And, like I said, day 3 for me, not a whole lot going on. I think the biggest points of emphasis is understanding and identifying how your body's feeling. That's going to dictate more things for that particular day as far as your throwing and your treatment and your lifts even. And then, again, day 4, we'll dive into more of like how I approach that bullpen and what that bullpen actually looks like. It'd be cool. I'm actually going to try to do this. So I'll try to film a bullpen here in the next few days and try to talk you guys through it, like as if it was, day 4 for me, and show you exactly how I go through that bullpen as far as like what pitch sequencing I'm trying to do, or giving you example of, for the other team, if this guy's so-and-so, I'm trying to attack him this way, and so on and so forth. So I think I'm going to try to do that. I don't know when I'm going to air that podcast. A lot of things going on right now, a lot of moving parts. Now that spring training started, I got a bunch of content I want to create, a lot of mechanical breakdowns I want to get to. So, but that was day 3. Maybe, hopefully you can take something from that. But if you haven't yet listened to day 1 or day 2, go ahead and do that now. I'd say those are more quote unquote juicier podcasts than this one. But all in all, like I said, hopefully you can take something from this and look forward to hopping on next time and talk about day 4. Bullpen day for me is always a really, really fun day. It is. Have fun, compete, work on things. It's cool. But so this was cool. I got to experience this new webcam that I really like. Makes my eyes look really bright. I'm wearing a Giants hat. Cool. All right, guys. Much love as always. God bless. Talk to you on the next podcast. Follow my Instagram. Follow my TikTok. Robby Row 12. All right. That's my last shameless plug. Love you guys. Bye.